I didn't find out by snooping. I didn't catch her cheating. I didn't overhear a secret phone call. I found out because I trusted her. And that's what destroyed everything. I used to think people exaggerated when they said relationships could fall apart overnight. I believed real breakups came from obvious things: cheating, abuse, constant fighting, money problems. The big, visible cracks. Ours didn't have any of that. That's why this hurts so much. From the outside, my relationship with Lena looked like one of those annoying, healthy couples people secretly roll their eyes at. The kind that makes others say things like, "must be nice," with a forced smile. We met 3 years ago at a mutual friend's birthday dinner. Nothing dramatic, no movie-style moment where time slowed down or sparks flew across the room. We just talked for hours. About work, about childhood, about dumb opinions we both had strong feelings about for no good reason. She laughed easily, not performative laughter, the kind that made her lean forward, eyes squinting, completely unself-conscious. That should have been my first clue. People who laugh like that tend to leave marks on you. By the end of the night, I knew 2 things. 1, I wanted to see her again. 2, this wasn't going to be casual. We took things slow. Actually slow. Not the fake version where you still emotionally sprint but pretend you're walking. We dated for months before making it official. We talked about expectations early, boundaries, past relationships, what hurt us before, what we were afraid of repeating. That mattered to me. I'd been in a relationship before where I felt like I was constantly guessing. Guessing what she wanted, guessing where I stood, guessing when the rug would be pulled. With Lena, there was none of that. She was clear, honest, or at least I thought she was. She told me about her past relationships in broad strokes. A college boyfriend who cheated, a short-lived situationship that went nowhere, nothing that felt unresolved or heavy. I didn't pry. I didn't need details. Everyone has a past, and I wasn't interested in competing with ghosts. I just wanted to build something real in the present, and we did. The good relationship. Our relationship settled into something comfortable without ever becoming boring. We had routines, but they didn't feel like ruts. Sunday mornings were for lazy breakfast and terrible reality TV. Wednesdays were for late dinners because we both worked long hours. Friday nights rotated between going out and staying in depending on how exhausted we were. We argued sometimes, but it never escalated. No yelling, no name calling. We actually listened to each other, another thing people love to brag about but rarely practice. When my car broke down and I had no way to get to work for a week, she rearranged her schedule without complaint. When she went through a rough patch at work and started doubting herself, I stayed up late helping her rehearse conversations she was afraid to have. We showed up. That's why everyone thought we were solid. That's why I thought we were solid. Friends would joke that we were already married. Her parents loved me. My sister once pulled me aside and said, "If you mess this up, it's your fault." I didn't feel pressure from that. I felt proud. About a year and a half in, we moved in together. It wasn't impulsive. We talked logistics, finances, personal space. We even discussed how we'd handle disagreements once we shared a home. Again, healthy, communicative, intentional. Our apartment wasn't fancy, but it felt like ours. We decorated slowly, photos from trips we took together, a plant she insisted we wouldn't kill, a bookshelf that became a mix of her novels and my nonfiction. This was the stage where most people get complacent. I didn't. If anything, I felt more certain. I started thinking long-term without panic. I imagined future versions of us. Not in some vague fantasy way, but practically. Holidays, family events, the boring stuff that actually makes up most of life. I wasn't planning a proposal yet, but the thought didn't scare me. It felt natural. The name I didn't question. There was a name that came up sometimes in conversation. Marcus. At first it meant nothing to me. It was just a name, a coworker, a friend of a friend. Someone from her past she referenced occasionally, always casually. Marcus used to hate that restaurant. Marcus once told me something similar. Back when I lived near Marcus, I didn't react because there was nothing to react to. People reference others from their lives all the time. I had names like that too. Old roommates, former classmates, exes who were no longer emotionally relevant. If anything, the lack of secrecy reassured me. She never hid her phone, never got weird about messages, never avoided topics. I had zero reason to feel suspicious, so I didn't. Looking back, I wonder how much damage that did. How many small moments I dismissed because they didn't fit the story I believed about us. But at the time, I trusted her completely. And trust has a way of blinding you to things that don't scream danger. The conversation that changed everything, but didn't feel like it yet. The night everything truly started unraveling didn't feel important while it was happening. That's the part that messes with me the most. We were sitting on the couch after dinner, half watching something neither of us cared about. She was scrolling on her phone. I was zoning out thinking about work the next day. Out of nowhere, she said, almost casually, "Do you ever think about how different things could have been?" I glanced at her. "Different how?" She shrugged. "I don't know. Just life stuff. Timing. Decisions." It didn't feel loaded. People get reflective sometimes. I'd done it myself. "Sure," I said. "I think that's normal." She nodded, then added, "I think things worked out the way they were supposed to." I smiled. "Me too." She leaned her head on my shoulder. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Why this matters now. If you'd asked me then whether I thought there was something she wasn't telling me, I would have laughed. Not defensively, genuinely. We didn't have secrets. That was kind of our thing. Which is why, when the truth finally started surfacing, it didn't arrive as a shocking reveal. It arrived as a quiet realization, a slow, sinking understanding that the foundation I thought I was standing on wasn't cracked. It was built on something I never agreed to. And the worst part? She didn't think she'd done anything wrong. I didn't lose my relationship because of betrayal in the way most people define it. I lost it because I learned I wasn't the first choice. And once you see yourself that way, you can't unsee it. They weren't red flags at first, they were just moments. The kind you notice, then immediately talk yourself out of noticing. If someone had shown me a highlight reel of the next few months, I still wouldn't have called it obvious. That's the uncomfortable truth. Nothing screamed danger. There were no suspicious texts, no late nights that didn't make sense, no sudden emotional distance, just small inconsistencies. And in a good relationship, you're taught to give your partner the benefit of the doubt, to communicate, to trust, to not project your insecurities onto them. So that's exactly what I did, the way she talked about her past. Lena wasn't secretive about her past, but she was selective. When she talked about her exes, the stories were clean, tied up, finished, like chapters she'd already closed and shelved. She never lingered, never spoke with emotion that felt unresolved. When she talked about her exes, the stories were clean, tied up, finished, like chapters she'd already closed and shelved. She never lingered, never spoke with emotion that felt unresolved. And I told myself that was a good thing, that it meant she'd healed, that it meant I had nothing to worry about, that the past was the past. But now I can't stop wondering if the reason those chapters were so neatly closed was because the story she really cared about ended before it ever became one. So now I'm stuck questioning something I never thought I'd have to question in a healthy relationship. AITA for feeling uneasy and reconsidering my relationship because I suspect I may not have been my girlfriend's first choice, even though she's never cheated and hasn't done anything wrong while being with me.